let's get this make a quick video. So yeah, let's pick up where we left off last week. So yeah, it's been a pretty eventful week. There's been some things that caught my attention. Some things that broke range, and so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and highlight some of the interesting things that happened this week. I think here's where we left off here on Tuesday, and let's remember that I was calling um, this part, and you can see last video, and I was calling for a downturn on the Nasdaq on Tuesday, because there was this resistance forming, and indeed, that's what happened. You can see here that there was a Nasdaq experienced a sell-off down to 24,300, and gold did the same. We can see here on Tuesday it also experienced a sell-off. So basically, what we see here is that gold and equities have been more or less trading, moving on in par, in tandem. Um, that's how it is right now. So we're not seeing any kind of breakout from gold or from equities. It's relatively has not been a lot of liquidity at the moment. You see here a lot of consolidation, and so basically they've been trading on par because on tandem. So mainly because the attention has shifted from gold and equities to oil. You know, so yeah, just like I said here too. Um, I'd said last week that oil will rise. You can see here the yellow line. And I said the same thing about the dollar. Why? How did I come up with these predictions? It was pretty easy, I was just like I said, from the last video, that the dollar, the Dixie, and has been taking a more prominent role, a more active role in deciding the whole market, the market-wide price action. So basically, what led me to believe that we were experiencing a resistance was basically looking at the dollar chart, the Dixie chart. So, so we've been, so on Tuesday, um, it was approaching, a support level. The dollar was approaching a support level at 98.6, right? So that's basically what led me to believe that it was um, approaching a support level, that people were already oversold selling the dollar, right? Uh, so whenever they sell the dollar, equities rise, and whenever they buy the dollar, equities uh, sell, right? So yeah, that's the reason behind my whole premise, my whole prediction behind the equities movement, and Bitcoin as a whole, the market. So I've been taking into the dollar a lot into account for my predictions. And but yeah, you can see here that I effectively, just like I said last week, these lines I drew them last week. So you can see here that it did so. So a couple of things that were interesting this week, a couple of things that happened that caught my attention was that the Dixie, the dollar, broke out range. Just broke the range. It ranged from here to here, so it just basically reached the 100 level. So this means that um, people were selling equities, and people were trying to buy dollars. Governments and banks, institutions were buying dollars this could be interpreted as a flight to safety due to increasing uncertainty and geopolitical conflicts. So it's natural that we get to see a flight to safety, a flight to dollar. People are selling their assets, and whenever they sell their assets, normally they're denominated in US dollars. So whenever they sell the assets, the dollar naturally goes up in value, right? Because everyone's trying to buy the dollar when they sell it, right? So it goes up. So and so we've been seeing a little bit of that. Um, and so that's basically what caught my attention. This just broke the range, and we experienced just like a sell-off up to the very Friday, and then uh, right. So the dollar and oil basically just trading in tandem, um, right. So yeah, I mean, I feel like the dollar is just right now moving a lot of the markets right now. So you just got to pay a little bit more attention to it at this point. Oil is doing that as well. It's moving also a pretty hefty share of the market too as well. So just got to take a little bit of attention to pay a little bit more attention to both of these indicators. So um, so right now, we can see here that basically um, equities were sold off during all previous week as well as gold, and dollar went up. It's just a natural reaction, right? Oil went up as well. So, and then starting this week on Monday, the equities opened higher and the dollar opened lower. People were selling dollar in order to buy equities, and you're right. So the gold just didn't move a whole lot. It basically stalled, plateaued in a way. So equity seems to be the most logical right now of most of the assets. So gold just going back to gold. Uh, Gold is going back to trade like gold. Going back to just not a whole lot of liquidity and just like staying there for a long while. So been experiencing that, and um, and yeah, I mean that's basically um, what we've been going through. Um, on this week. I think it was pretty neat week. Consistent sell off. Started to sell here. It was pretty straightforward week. What happened? It's been a lot of tension. We can talk about geopolitics and increasing tensions, and the U.S. administration having sort of a standoff with their allies, and just the Strait of Hormuz and the blockades and everything. Um, but I think that will defeat the purpose of this live stream. We can go into details about war and opinions, but um, we may, I might do that later on, but just like in the surface level, I'm trying to be straight to the point, explaining more or less um, price action and bit of technical analysis. Not a whole lot to do with geopolitical debates and stuff like that, but we may, but I might touch those subjects nonetheless. So, um, yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty interesting week. It's been a pretty straightforward week on equities and the dollar. Um, there doesn't seem to be relaxation of tension. Um, feel there still is a uh, you know um, so yeah, I mean, and another thing that caught my attention this week, today, especially today, is that whenever when I reach here, I remember saying, okay, so what will be the next point for the dollar to reach? So the next point will be this here, the support level, and that's where we reached actually, and that's looks like that's the place where we're gonna bounce from. So logically, so we're operating on support and resistance levels. So we reach an important support level here, resistance level here. So remember that resistance turns to support returns to resistance level. So it seems to be a logical bounce area here, right? So I'm expecting a recovery from the dollar. So dollar is going to rise, and let's remember what happens when dollar rise. Equities fall, right? And the gold falls. So I expect to the for the remainder of this week and the next to revisit these levels here, 25, 200, and face another resistance here, right? So it's set up to it's already, so it's reaching a pivotal critical area for equities. Um, they have to make sure that they don't make sure that they break this level if it goes continuation. But again, they're facing a pretty tough resistance level, pretty well known resistance level. So let's see how they fare. Um, Gold's still like in a sterling stalling phase, but what caught my attention today, especially today, was this level here, that we just are back to resistance levels that turn support, and there could be a potential, um, you know, a potential reversal again to the upside on the dollar. That could that could affect, logically, consequently affect equities, right? So yeah, so that's basically my move here. I expect something like this again, you know. So yeah, um, I expect the Dixie will go up and the equities go down. Is one of my trading predictions for the moment, right? So that's one half of the video. The other half will be say, talking about crypto, about Bitcoin, like what's going on right now with Bitcoin. Why is it behaving so radically? Why is it behaving? Why is it breaking correlation? Why is it behaving so differently from equities and gold? And why is it behaving just so differently, right? Um, just do not make any sense. Like, why is Bitcoin going up when equities are going down, right? So a prime example for that will be last week. Last week was a continual sell-off, right? You can see here on equities and just a rise in the dollar. People were selling assets market-wide, but Bitcoin was not really going down at all. So what we experienced was a decorrelation event. Bitcoin got decorrelated from the Nasdaq to the upside, right? So Bitcoin is behaving like Bitcoin, pretty much, so just doing whatever it wants to do. There's been again a lot of manipulation, a lot of people. Bitcoin's been experiencing since it's been it's been a while now that Bitcoin's been experiencing low liquidity, and just like a lot of bad actors have entered the market and just pretty much manipulated the price however they want to do it, or however they wanted to. So we've been experiencing a lot of that lately on Bitcoin. So I will remain cautious. I will remain cautious on Bitcoin. It's behaving pretty radically, pretty just opposite of market-wise doing opposite of the whole geopolitics conflict is doing. So, but there's some people. There's actually some people calling for the real bottom. People are saying that the bottom is in. People are saying that reversal is about to happen. That's what they are saying. You know, people are saying, "Oh, okay, Bitcoin's front running market-wide reversal." But again, that's their thesis. That's their argument. I myself just I will advise caution. I will advise that just be a little bit skeptical. Do not deploy fully to Bitcoin as of yet. I think it's um, again, it's just probably taking out some people out. You know, probably hunting some stops or reaching some liquidity levels they want to reach. So I think the next important level for Bitcoin to will be the natural 80. But again, that's a pretty here. That's a pretty uh it's a lot of question marks on that level still. You know, I feel like there's still a long road to go. There's still a lot of work to do to reach that level 80, in my opinion. Might as well go there. I don't know. I think that again, like I said, Bitcoin's acting pretty radically, pretty volatile. Again, I will advise to short, to wait and short uh, peaks, tops. I think that work has been working more or less well. So you can see here basically that uh, you reached here the previous level, 24,000, and experienced a sell-off. So it was pretty much pretty good sell-off, pretty good short opportunity here. But now that we broke that level, right, and there seemed to be a couple of people were selling here. People thought that we would go down, but it didn't. But this might be your deviation. This might be a mean reversion. Um, but let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Um, I do not think this is the top. This does not look like a top. We might revisit this again, and yeah, that's basically my thesis. I believe that the market will experience a sell-off, but you never know with Bitcoin. Like the way Bitcoin is acting right now, you just never know with Bitcoin, unfortunately. Plus, we have tomorrow. There's tomorrow, Thursday. There's a Fed meeting, so it's going to be a pretty volatile day, and many traders advise not to trade just volatility and on that day. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. Um, we are on pretty important levels. Um, yeah, you can see here that Bitcoin went up while the DASDAQ was dumping. You can see here basically. So obviously something's pretty off. You can see here, you know. So it went down, it was going up, and now it could be going up. It has behaving pretty well for the bullish side. Going down, 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 going down, up, down, 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 going up. Then they just, you know, hunted stops here, and then just another short. Yeah. So on the weekend, they bought Bitcoin again, and it's doing pretty well. I would advise if you want to buy, I would say buy here or something like here, 21,800 or something like that, right? Something like here. 22 will be like this, 22 or something like this. 22, right? That's my prediction. So yeah, it's more or less here. So yeah, I mean, it's been going up regarding, you know, pretty much going up. Doesn't care about the whole market right now. Just so I will advise caution. Um, you can tell here that Monday there was the New York open higher, equities open higher, Bitcoin did as well, and they want to take out the highs. Here they try to take out the highs, and then they pushed higher here. The market pushed higher, you know, try to push higher and take the remaining shorts to take out the remaining shorts here. The other shorts that had their stops that we adjusted their stops from here to 20 to 75, 75, 500, 75, 76. That's where they took the last people that short here. They placed their stops here. Then they readjusted to 2000 more to 26. Um, right, that's what they did. So basically, um, yeah, I mean that's what they did. They changed to 26, and they might go following the $2,000 rule that I invented. Basically means just that the next logical top will be just $2,000 more from the last top. So last stop was 76, and the next stop will be 78. That will be interesting number following the $2,000 rule. Basically, it's for finding tops and bottoms. You just add, subtract $2,000 from the price to find the next top or next bottom. That's a rule I created, and yeah, I mean that's basically my prediction. Again, they bought here, they sold, and then they went to take all the stops higher here. They did so, and then they sold again. That's where it took profit. All the people that long here took profit here, right? The big guys, banks took profit here. So it's been pretty much a pretty good tradable if you're on the right side. Um, then liquidity seems to be back, and institutions and inflows have pretty much surged compared to previous weeks. Just it's been a lot more activity um, on Bitcoin and crypto altogether. So yeah, I mean, basically, there's been a lot of volatility in these levels. It's yeah. So let's see how the market behaves. Again, market went up on Tuesday. Didn't do a whole lot, stay relatively flat, so that may be an issue, maybe a sign of trouble. We may have been reaching resistance levels here because on Tuesday didn't do look to be doing a whole lot. Probably people are more or less um, waiting for the Fed meeting to pass, more or less like apprehensive to see what's going to happen. So yeah, um, I think it's a pretty critical time. Um, so yeah, I mean that's basically my take on the markets. We can check, for example, you can see the 1 minute chart just to gauge how the market's been moving. Um, yeah, I mean, pretty much it's been pretty choppy. You know, you can see here, pretty choppy all over the place. Um, Pretty interesting nonetheless, and a lot of volatility you can see here, a lot of spikes, people just taking out people just want a lot of stop hunting and to have a lot of patience and wait for that good entry type of market, you know. So yeah, I mean, pretty much it was 17, yeah, 17. They wanted to them out. So, and it was 24, 25, 26. They reached 26 3 times, right? So 24 was the previous top, right? And you see here how it reacted. 20, 74, 74, right? So 74 has been an interesting level, and then recover 74, and then it went to take out the 75, 76. So a lot is happening on the New York session, and then we found that on the yeah, it was pretty hard sell. You can see here, pretty hard sell, and then but then sell got bought on, yeah, the open here. They bought pre-market, was going up. Pre-market, pre-market was massive, was bought. You know, pre-market was going, but it did went up. It did go up. It tried to go up on the random market, the New York section. Opened, and then it hit the wall, hit resistance here, and it tried to go up. It went up in Nasdaq, but Bitcoin didn't seem to go up. It was like stalling. Then it finally reacted to it, and reached levels, and then some people sold here, or got off, and right, and then it reached this level again. So I mean, it's been pretty good market for scalpers, but for swing traders, not so much. It's been pretty, how to say, um, head wrecking, like pretty stubborn, like not ideal for. Uh, it's been pretty exhausting market. You can see here, pretty choppy and just up and down, pretty range like. Just gotta take that into mind and just not wish for 60. You know what I mean? On these levels. So just gotta have a lot of caution and just realize what type of market you are trading in, basically. So yeah, I mean you can see here 74, 74, 6, 75 as a place where people have been selling. So just gonna know that. And yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say. And thank you for watching.